Almost everything that could go wrong for Arkansas farmers did go wrong this year. And it's so bad that many are facing bankruptcy or even the closure of farms that have been passed down for generations. A dismal global market and plunging commodity prices mean there's little to no hope of breaking even for many farmers, even as sky-high input costs rise because of inflation and now tariffs. Not to mention bad weather earlier in the year.
This time last year, the rice price was about 40% higher than it is now. The inputs costs have gone up, so after a horrible year last year where most farmers in Arkansas Delta lost money, this year's going to be worse.
Though President Trump's big beautiful bill provided a much needed update to safety net subsidies for farmers, they won't see those federal dollars until late next year, by which time some have projected that as many as 1/4 or even 1/3 of Arkansas farmers will face bankruptcy or be forced to leave the business amid the crisis the American ag economy is currently in. It's already taken its toll this year.
I'm a sixth-generation farmer from Newport, and we made a decision to go out this year. In the spring. So my son will not be the seventh generation on our farm.
5 of my customers have committed suicide. That's how serious that this is.
Today, Arkansas farmers gathered to share their struggles with staffers from the state's congressional delegation, pleading for Arkansas lawmakers on Capitol Hill and the governor to convince President Trump to provide emergency funding to help them make it to next year.
We have to have ad hoc payments right now to make it through this year.
If there's no emergency funding this year, there will be 1 out of 3 farmers will file bankruptcy.
Their cries for help did not appear to fall on deaf ears.
We're going to take your message, we're going to get it back to D.C., we're going to do everything we can to get you the help you need.
Until the federal government steps in to save them, farmers have no one to turn to but God.
Farmers, in my opinion, dear Lord, and it's only my opinion, are closer to thee than anyone else on this earth because we deal with your earth every day. Dear Lord, we're hurting, dear Lord. We can't help what's happened to us.
It's hard not to be moved by the cries of the people who put food on your table. On your side, I'm Andrew Mobley.
Drew, thanks so much. And in a joint statement, Senators John Bozeman and Tom Cotton, along with Congressman Rick Crawford, write that they are happy to continue to hear from farmers around Northeast Arkansas and promise that relief is coming. They also say, we are proud to have delivered multiple forms of key support and assistance that combined total over $80 billion since last December. These reforms and investments, once implemented, will help address economic challenges and natural disasters to preserve family farms.
Someone asked me the other day, why is it that more of America's farmers have not yet turned on Trump? After all, he's cut farm-to-table programs, he's cut farm-to-school lunch programs, he's cut all kinds of funding for, structural improvements, drainage, climate resilience programs. He's cut all kinds of grant funding for farmers all across this country. He's cut USAID that has cost America's farmers billions. Ask farmers in Nebraska how they're doing right now. We are seeing silos full of corn and wheat and sorghum that go unsold. The United States government had promised to buy these crops, and then they pulled the contracts because Elon Musk gutted USAID. And all of this food, not just grains, but also milk that is turned into powdered milk, that was meant to go and secure our interests abroad and feed hungry people, is now sitting unsold in the United States of America, and that is hurting our farmers. Why are more of them not pissed off? And somebody else said, well, why are more farmers not freaking out that all of their migrant labor is being snatched by ICE? We are seeing ICE running into farm fields, snatching migrants who are toiling, picking our food, the food to feed the American people. They are coming in and tackling and snatching these folks, abducting them, and stuffing them into detention facilities where billions of our taxpayer money is going to keep these people imprisoned. And someone in my comments who was from the Midwest said, oh, don't you understand, in a lot of these states, especially a lot of the grain farmers and dairy farmers, they don't actually use that much immigrant labor. If they have very mechanized, agricultural setups on their farms, then they're not really interfacing that much with migrant labor. And yes, I totally understand for those folks who are growing large amounts of soybeans and grains, that makes sense. if you don't have to interact with brown people on a regular basis, you can dehumanize them more easily. You can justify what Trump is doing more easily. But there are farmers all around the country that rely heavily, heavily on migrant labor, especially where I am on the West Coast. And they are about to feel the hurt real bad. It's starting to be that time of year where more and more crops need to be picked.
Hello, and welcome back. So today we are diving into crisis unfolding across America's heartland. So farmers are under pressure. The debt is climbing. Crop prices are falling. The weather is more unpredictable than ever. But here's the twist. Many of the hardest hit farmers are in the red states, and some of these policies they supported are now adding to their struggles. So we'll break down this with facts, stories, and what it means for the future of American farming. As we call it, it's FAFO, for red state farmers. So let's start with the big picture. A farm debt is projected to top about $560 billion for this year, a record high. Corn and soy prices are down. Fertilizers, fuel, and farm equipment costs are going way up. And let's talk about the extreme weather. It's making it worse. Flood in some places, drought in others. So the USDA reports that while disaster aids has helped a little, farm income is still far below past peaks. Bankruptcies are rising up more than 70% in early 2025, and farmers can't find enough workers. Labor shortages means crops are going unharvested. Zoom into the Midwest, states like Iowa, North Dakota, Kansas, and Nebraska. These regions are depending heavily on raw crops, and right now they're among the hardest hit. Let's talk about farmers, Now, let's focus on red states or the FAFO states. So farming here is not just an industry, it's a way of life. And most of these farmers are family owned, or most of these farms are family owned, passed down from generation to another generation. But the pressure is mounting. A Purdue survey shows farmers are optimistic in long term, but in short term, inflation, debts are big worries. So let's talk about in places like North Dakota, farmers are still recovering from past trade wars. And in Arkansas, the pain is very specific. This year, state regulators and lawmakers made a decision to restrict the camper herbicides. After years of lawsuit and crop damage, that meant protecting neighboring farmers or farms. But the immediate consequence has been tough on soybean growers who had relied on it. Many farmers here say they have lost their most affordable tool to fight persistent weeds. With soy prices low, every cost hurts. And to that severe drought condition is part of eastern Arkansas. And you have farmers cutting herd size, auctioning equipment, and some even leaving fallows. The Arkansas Farmers Bureau reports that farm bankruptcies in the states have risen sharply in 2025, with small operations being hit the hardest. Now let's talk what is happening here. So we'll know I think last year, these Arkansas farmers voted out the possibility of the handouts. And these handouts comes when these farms, they see that they can't sustain the future, they can't exist in the future. So these guys, the same way on how MAGA are regretting their votes after very bad things happen to them, after voting for Donald Trump. It's the same way that this city or these farmers are experiencing the hard-hit reality. They voted for what? To end what you call handouts. And now they're the same farmers that are crying out loud. They want these handouts. Now, here is where the policies comes in. Farmers in red state largely supported Trump, but some of his policies are now hitting them directly. Trade wars are back. Tariffs on China and Mexico have cut demand for US crops. Soy and corn export are down. Florida growers say they are plowing under produce they can't sell. Meanwhile, Brazil and other countries are grabbing US market share. Arkansas is feeling this top poultry. Arkansas is feeling this too. Poultry, one of the state's biggest industries, is facing a failing export demand after tariff disrupted global market. That means less money for producers and fewer jobs in processing plants. Then there's labor. About 40% of farm workers in America were undocumented. Mass deportation left these farmers short-handed. Many crops were rotting in the field and the wages were rising, but what? The workforce is scarce. Aid programs have also stalled. Billions in farm payments are tied in Washington. Yes, some farmers like the long-term idea protecting their U.S. agriculture. But right now, the pain is real. And many of the promises don't match what? The reality that they expected. Somebody said the Trump that they voted is not the Trump that is in. The Trump that was campaigning is different Trump. So these struggles aren't just statistics, they are personal stories. So let's check. In Iowa, a family say bankruptcy is looming because crop prices won't cover the loans. In Arkansas, soybean growers say resistant weeds are driving up costs, while poultry farmers are stuck with the warehouse of unsold what? Products. But here is hope. But there's hope. New technology is helping cut costs. Precision farming, better data, smart irrigation. Farm groups are pushing hard for a strong farm bill in 2025 with stronger conservative funding, stronger safety nets. And communities are rallying from local farmers, markets to top organizations like Farm Aid. Support is there. It's out there. The fight is tough, but I think it's not over. It's over when these guys will receive what? The handouts. Because that's what they need. So here is the bottom line. American farmers are struggling in 2025. Debt, climate, labor shortages, and trade war are piling up, and in states like the Arkansas city, local decision and global policies are combining to squeeze farmers even tighter. Now the question is this: will policies help them recover or push them deeper into crisis? Will this handout help or push them further into what? Into debt? Please let us know in the comment section what are your thoughts about this whole topic. And please don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends. Let's hit 10,000 and let's hit more farmers. We need more farmers to come and tell us what they are thinking about. Till next time, peace out.